Hey everybody, welcome to TIW Podcast. I'm Eric, and today I watched WWE NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool II, which was broadcast live from the Empress Ballroom in Blackpool, Lancashire, England. That's the full location of it. On January 12th, 2020. I really enjoyed this pay-per-view. I went over my friend Matt and Aaron's house to hang out, watch this while we played mostly we entirely Pyramid Arcade while we were watching this, and played some other games throughout the day afterwards. So it was a whole lot of fun, and this show was great, I thought. Yeah, I'll just get right into it. It's going to be there's only 5 matches to talk about. I didn't take notes or anything, so I'm just going to mention some stuff that I remember specifically from all of these. First, we had Eddie Dennis versus Trent Seven. I didn't know a whole lot about this build-up, and even with the recap, it just kind of seemed like, oh, these guys just have a problem with each other, and they're going to fight and punch each other a bunch, and all of that. So I enjoyed it. It was pretty solid showing from both of them, and Eddie Dennis came out on top. This was the shortest match on the card, and I thought that was a good length. I didn't think it really needed to be really any longer, and it didn't. I didn't feel like it dragged out or anything like that. So right around 8 minutes and 15 seconds. This is a solid opening match. The second match, we had I'm not really going to rank the other 3 matches, but my top 2 matches, this is my second favorite. I thought it was great. Maybe the ending could have been a little bit more impactful as far as the move that finished the match, but it was an advantageous move by a heel, and I think it still worked. And maybe it not being like the strongest thing is like makes it a little even more annoying that it happened, and that could be maybe a good thing, and it could fuel feuds going forward probably. And anyway, this was Kaylee Ray, defending champion, fighting Toni Storm and Piper Niven, and yeah, I really like this match. I like all 3 of them. I haven't seen a whole lot of. I've probably seen about equal number of Kaylee Ray and Piper Niven matches, since they've pretty much only had. Actually, I've probably seen more Kaylee Ray matches since she came over for War Games, and then also did some stuff leading up to War Games on regular NXT. But anyway, so I'm not as familiar with them as Toni Storm, but I really enjoyed both of their performances. I've enjoyed both of their performances in matches in the past as well, including last year's World Collide. They were both in the the Women's Battle Royale. I'm pretty sure that both of them were in that, and I think Toni Storm might have been in it as well. Maybe not. I don't remember exactly. Rhea definitely was, and she was like throwing Casey Catanzaro all over the place. That was pretty great. That was the first time I saw her do that cloverleaf, but like holding the opponent up, which is an awesome finisher. But anyway, enough about Rhea Ripley. She's not on the show. Toni Storm, I believe she hit to Storm Zero. If I'm remembering correctly, she hit Storm Zero on Piper Niven and she was getting the pinfall, and then Kaylee Ray just like, it wasn't so much a super kick as it was like a medium kick. But I mean, she was like sitting on the ground because she was getting the pinfall after that move. So like she couldn't do the whole like leg way up in the air type of thing. But she kicked her in the face, knocked her off of there, and then got the pin. I forget who Kaylee Ray pinned, but yeah, she's still champion, and I'm pretty excited for her. I'm wondering now, does this mean, because Toni Storm challenged Rhea Ripley at Worlds Collide, but I don't know if that was contingent on if she was going to be champion or not, because prefaced it by saying, "I'm going to win this championship, and then I'm going to challenge you for that championship." And so that could be up for change, but it sounds like that match will still happen. Just Toni Storm she's not going to be Toni 2 belts. She's still Toni 0 belts for right now. And we'll see what happens before then. We have 2 episodes of NXT before that happens. And one of those episodes of NXT is Battle Royal. That's this week. Will be a Battle Royal of the women from the NXT roster. No special guests. It's all just straight up NXT. And the winner of that will also have a title opportunity. But I believe that must be for TakeOver Portland. I think that would make the most sense. But we'll see how that all works out, because they kind of announced it afterwards. And I was there, since I was in there in person, I didn't hear them explaining it when the graphics were on screen. So I don't know if they announced when that match would happen for the championship. But anyway, I'm super excited for all this. I think Toni Storm stands a really good chance of beating Rhea Ripley. I mean, Rhea losing it on her first, I don't think that's going to happen. But if anybody was going to do it, it would be, who isn't Shayna Baszler, I think it would be Toni Storm. Excuse me. Likewise, does this mean somebody is going to challenge Kaylee Ray? I really hope so. It would be awesome to have 2 women's matches on the card. I was worried that it was going to be champion versus champion, because that would mean it's, we're already supposedly going to get Imperium versus Undisputed Era, and that soaks up like most of the champions in that match. So to have 2 more championships sucked up into one other match, I feel like would be a little bit of a missed opportunity. So now, okay. Anyway, I hope somebody from NXT over here in the United States challenges Kaylee Ray for that championship, so that we get that cross-brand challenge action going on. And I could see that challenger being, Rhea and Toni are both faces right now. So it could be Kaylee defending against a heel. It could be Kaylee Ray versus Shayna Baszler, but I think it has to be someone that she can beat. So I could see it being Kaylee Ray versus Bianca Belair, or maybe even Io Shirai. That might be the best way to go. I don't know. Or maybe that Battle Royale is for who's going to face Kaylee Ray, and they're going to mix it up like that. That could be interesting. That we thought that it's going to be who will challenge Rhea Ripley, but really they're going to challenge. I think that's what I think is going to happen, because then the match happens, like next week. And that'd be pretty cool. Okay, enough about this match. Moving on, Tyler Bate versus Jordan Devlin. This is a really good one. It was a little bit long, I thought, especially for the pace that they're going for a lot of it. We stopped what we were doing and paid full attention. That's not a bad thing. We stopped what we were doing and paid full attention because we thought it was building up to the climax of the match, and really it was halfway through, and there's still a whole rest of the we were only halfway. We still had another 10 minutes or whatever of it, but it was really good. Tyler Bate won, and this is, it's the only the third takeover Blackpool anyway, but this is Tyler Bate's first victory on a UK takeover. So congratulations to Tyler Bate. I don't think Jordan Devlin has won on a takeover yet, because Finn destroyed him last January, and I forget who he fought. I think he fought Travis Banks, because he was supposed to fight Travis Banks at the first takeover. So maybe he fought Travis Banks. I don't remember. I can look it up really easily. I just click right here. Takeover Cardiff. Let's see. Oh, I forgot that they had pre-show matches. Did they have pre-show matches? I don't remember. Oh, maybe they didn't even televise those. I'm not sure. But, Oh, Jordan Devlin didn't have a match on TakeOver Cardiff. Huh. All right, then. Okay, then up next, my favorite match of the night. This match was ridiculous. Oh, man. So from the second that I learned this match was happening, I knew it was going to be nuts. Because ladder matches always are, especially four-way tag team ladder matches. Like there's I could probably if I had taken notes, I could just go down beat by beat by beats and talk about this 25-minute match for well over an hour because it was just that great. Okay, the one moment that I have to talk about is that they had a gigantic ladder, to which I said, that ladder is way too tall. Up to that point, they just had ladders that were all too short for anybody to be able to get to the championships. But they, first of all, Tom Phillips saying they accidentally got that set up outside of the ring. It's an accident that it's set up out there. Instead, that's so funny. But okay, who is in this match? We have Gallus, Mark Coffey, and Wolfgang, defending champions, versus Imperium, Fabian Eichner, and Marcel Barthel. Grizzled Young Veterans, Zach Gibson and James Drake, and Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster, who do not have a tag team name, which they seem the most like they should have a tag team. They match the best. Imperium match really well. Gallus matches really well too. Gibson and Drake, they sort of match, but like in the way that they're both dressed to wrestle kind of thing. Not that they both have like costumes or whatever. Anyway, okay, so they accidentally get the ladder set up outside of the ring. They had two tables set up, propped up on the apron over to the guardrails. We have Coffee on one of them, but that table breaks. Like as soon as he gets on it, it's all for bust because as it turns out, what they were probably planning to do was to do two sentons over to either side onto each guy. Wolfgang is on the other table. That table does not break, and they call an audible and say, "Okay, let's both senton him at the same time," which seemed like super, super risky, super dangerous. But because it went well, I don't know if the risk was maybe worth it because it could have gone really wrong. But it led to a moment that I don't think I've ever seen this happen. Two guys senton off of a ladder into one guy on a table. I don't think I've ever seen that. And that moment wouldn't have happened unless that other table accidentally broke. And that's pretty cool. And it seemed like it worked out. Hopefully there wasn't some type of injury that they didn't realize until afterwards. I'm sure there's bumps and bruises from it, cuts and bruises. But, oh man, what a moment. I think that was my favorite moment of the match, favorite moment of the night inside of a match or like during a match. So eventually all kinds of stuff happens. Man, really creative stuff. Quite a few things I had personally not seen before. For all that I know, it might have all just been copied from something else that already happens. So if that's the case, I apologize. I haven't seen that. And please send me links so that I can see that because I freaking love ladder matches. But anyway, Gallus, they win. They get the championships after they clear the ring and all of that. But man, I really, really like the women's match. This match I freaking loved. I think this could be the match of the year. Probably in the top two, at least, right behind, if even behind anything, that other one from a couple of days ago. I think it was on Raw. That was just like a ridiculously good match. Also, was it the triple threat in the main event this last Monday? Oh, that was good. That was real good. I think that's the really, really good match that I'm thinking of. It was Joe versus that wasn't a triple threat. It was a triple threat to determine who would. What am I thinking of? What am I thinking of? It was to determine who would fight. I don't even. It was a triple threat that was non-existent. I can't even remember what it was. Oh my gosh. I have notes here. Okay. It wasn't from this week's SmackDown. I think it was from Monday. Let's see. Or no. It was NXT. That's right. That's why I was like completely making up what was happening in there. And I didn't write notes for it because I was there in person. Duh. Keith Lee versus Dominik Dijakovic versus it was a fatal four-way, right? Versus Cameron Grimes versus Damian Priest. That one was ridiculously great too. You kind of can't compare them, although maybe you can compare them more than most matches because they both had no disqualifications, so they could do all kinds of crazy stuff. But anyway, go watch this match. It's awesome. Even knowing who wins it, like just see all the crazy stuff they do. It's great. And then we had Walter versus Joe Coffey. Walter won via submission. I mean, there was some good stuff throughout the match. Some brutal slaps, of course. I said he should change his name to Swatler instead of Walter. Just such a stupid name, but because he swats his opponents, he just swats them like that, thwap, and then burps a little bit while he says thwap. Excuse me, I'm so sorry, but there's some good stuff. I was saying, like, okay, Walter he's a beast. He's huge. He does all kinds of stuff, like that giant frog splash that he did. That was impressive. He does all this stuff, and he's presented as being this like kind of unstoppable monster. Like he can't be defeated, and all of that. And yet, all of his matches are like 25 minutes long. Whether his opponent is Joe Coffey or Finn Balor. Did Finn Balor fight him? Jordan Devlin, Tyler Bates, Pete Dunne. All these guys, I mean, great matches. I enjoy them all. But if he is such an unstoppable monster, like, why does it take him so long to win these matches? That's my question. But anyway, Imperium is there celebrating in the ring when, boom, the Undisputed appear and attack and clear house. And we're left with the Undisputed Era standing tall in the middle of the ring as we cut to black, the end of the episode. Set up for Worlds Collide. This is going to be fantastic. I am super excited. So, man, the 8-man tag team match, that could be really cool. But I kind of hope this happens instead. I hope we end up with Undisputed Era versus Imperium for the Dusty Tag Team Classic Final, and we get Alexander Wolf taking on Roderick Strong in a singles match for the North American Championship, and we get champion versus champion Adam Cole versus Walter. And then you have 3 potentially epic matches instead of one, like, kind of like, yeah, I mean, it's an 8-man tag match. How crazy can it get? Unless it's a tornado tag match and all of them can be in there at once. It can only get so crazy, right? So, we'll see what happens with all of that. And of course, I can't wait to see what happens with Kaylee Ray, what she's doing at Worlds Collide. Because I want to see her in a singles match, or just a singles match in person, because I haven't seen her fight a singles match in person yet. So yeah, I think that's really all I want to talk. That's all there is to talk about. It's the best takeover. It's the best takeover of the year. That's for sure, because it's the only takeover of the year so far. But just in quick succession, 2 weeks later, boom, worlds collide. Then 2 weeks after that, TakeOver Portland. It's an awesome month of wrestling, like starting right now through until after TakeOver Portland, and maybe just a couple of days after that. Somebody shared on the WhatsApp group that I'm in a link that WWE is planning an international pay-per-view of some sort the Thursday after TakeOver Portland. Whatever that is, wherever that is, have no idea. It could just be completely made up. We'll see in the coming weeks. I'm sure they don't really want to promote it too much until we're a lot closer, or after the Royal Rumble, promoting it right after Royal Rumble. I mean, I guess that's still like 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks to promote it. But I feel like if it's an actual thing, we're going to hear about it before, like we're going to hear some details before the Royal Rumble happens. So that's it. I really, really like this pay-per-view. I think this is my favorite, NXT UK takeover yet. But they've all been great. So let me know what you thought about this show by tweeting me at TIW Podcast. Go to TIWpodcast.com for more reviews. If you enjoyed this episode or anything else on the site, please share some links with your friends. Subscribe in iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, wherever you like to listen. Stay safe out there in all of the infinite multiverses, and I'll see you next time here on TIW Podcast. Bye.